John Doyle from Optics EQ. In today's video race today, I'm going to do Aqueduct Race 5 on Saturday, January the 8th. But before I do that, I just want to make a note is if you're interested in actually being my guest on a video and reviewing a race, I suggest that you just contact us. Go to contact us on our website here, right here. Tell me you're interested. Tell me what race you want to look at, what race you want to do, and we expect you to come prepared. We want you to analyze the race, and we'll go through it together. We'll do it on a Zoom, and then we'll record it and then send it out as the race of the day. So if you're interested in doing that, contact us. It should be some fun, okay? Thanks. So I'm jumping right into race 5. And the reason I am is because I was looking down, and you can look here to the right. It's a big field, so there's going to be some AEs and whatever. But the thing that kind of just jumped out at me was the early morning favorite, the 2-to-1 shot Provision. Nice plot, but there's going to be some contention there, good speed rating. And also what we have on this horse is 2 red keywords in the last 3 races and a regress on the last one. And I did that note myself. I did not like the way that horse was finishing. Even though the horse won by 7 lengths, he was looking to lay down. The figure came back pretty good too, so he's got good improving figures. But anyway, that was the first thing just jumping out at me, again, looking at red and green and looking for some things. And then the second thing, we had a couple of green horses in this race, 2 kickback horses in the 7 and the 11, and also the 4 with a what I call a double green keyword. Okay, so it's 2 races in a row where this horse has had some issues to deal with, and he's a big price at 15-1. So let's jump into the grid knowing those things. And we're going to start off, let's say, again, look at that favorite we talked about. Horse that's improving in speed figures, keeps going up. But first things first, this horse just beat non-2 winners lifetime. And look at the optics fig. Let me just get off there. Look at the optics fig range for that race, much lower than today's race. So you got to imagine what he was running against. And he wasn't keeping a straight line in the stretch. Not crazy. I'm not a big fan of that. So just based on that alone, I think this horse is vulnerable going up in class. Even though he's like going from 16 to 14, it's non-winners 2 lifetimes at 3. That's a big jump in class. And it looks like, for whatever reason, the other thing is he's changing barns. So you never like these kinds of horses changing barns. And again, let's look at the extended comment. That's what I wanted to pay attention to. Lengthening lead despite drifting and tiring. So, just like no one was coming at him. Looked like a weak field based on the optics fig range. Going to be pretty short. 2-1 in the morning line, maybe even shorter than that based on the plot. So maybe a horse you kind of want to take a chance against in this race. So let's look at some of the other horses in this race. Now, go back to the ones that we mentioned. We said the 7 and the 11 had some issues in the last couple of races. So here you see you have a horse with kickback, and this horse is dropping. So this horse, even though the speed figure came back real low, the horse got kicked back. The figure before was low, but that was against much better. This horse has races in his past to be competitive and win this and crush this field, actually. So I just think, just on a quick assessment, this might be a better spot for this horse and may have a chance in a field that's, not strong. A lot of horses that don't want to win. And 8-1 is a fair value on that kind of horse. The 11 was the other kickback horse that we mentioned. This horse looks kind of slow. It doesn't have the figures like the back figures like the number 7 has. So even if this horse were to improve, can't put him in the winner's circle. He's a deep closer. If you want to mess around, look at him in races, like underneath or something maybe. Let's just look at his dirt figures. He just kind of looks too slow for me. So I wouldn't want him on top. I'll leave you to decide if you want to use him in your vertical wagering. The other horse that was interesting a little bit, even though I didn't mention before, was the 5. So move over the 5. Second off a layoff, just fits on numbers wise. So there's another horse that looks like a contender. If you look at his plot, plots nicely right in the middle there. So Yeah, this horse is a contender in a race like this. Again, we're trying to beat the 8, so there's another one you might want to use. But the key horse for me is the number 4 off the double green. Uh, Optics note keyword. So yeah, this horse came back racing after 112 days. You can see this horse has races uh, in the mid 80s, 90s. This horse is capable of winning this race on his best day. Okay, just haven't seen his best day recently. But he comes off a 112-day layoff, gets kicked back. We're projecting improvement. What happens? He comes back, and again, he's running against better horses. He's against the flow and against the bias. Slight squeeze out of the gate, against the race flow, sneaky finish. I love those sneaky finishes. He's tied with the winner for the best final quarter mile in the race. So this horse is sneaky. He's 15-1 in the morning line, and he's coming back quick, but he really hasn't put much effort into these last couple of races. He's capable on his best to run with what it takes to win this race, anywhere between 84 and 90. And he's going to be overlooked because of the connections. So here's a horse that has a class edge, right? Because let's look at his class competition. He's above the line. Him and the 7 are above the line in terms of class. Fits on figures, and he's got excuses. A great play at 15-1. Going to use him in all slots. Okay, so that's my assessment. Key in the 4, like the 5-7, uh, and also think the 8 is vulnerable, but wouldn't argue like putting in if you have to back him up in slots 2 and 3. But essentially for me, it's 4 over the 5-7 in race 5 at Aqueduct. Remember, if you're interested in joining us and being a guest on this video, contact us at opticseq.com. Appreciate it. It's John Doyle. Thanks for listening.